and thanks for joining us here at the table. I'm Rachel, and joining me today is the lovely Julie, the fabulous Mary Ellen, and the oh-so-wise Melody. Ladies, how are you?
Fantastic.
Good. Glad. I hope I've given you a good start to the program.
Pressure, actually.
Oh, pressure. Yeah, sorry about that. Good luck. Well, today we're chatting with pharmacist Julia Simmons. She's going to tell us how she created a natural cure for her child's eczema. You're going to want to stick around for her story and hear her success. And standardised testing in our schools, does it really have an importance or value? And oh, lunchbox wars. Do you have them with your kids or your school? And how creative do you actually have to get? That's all coming up today on the show. But to get started, we're actually going to start with a topic that Melody feels very passionate about: waste-free living on a budget. Now, talk us through, Melody, because I'm scared it's going to cost me a small fortune to live on a budget.
Well, that's the thing. Like, I'm passionate about waste-free living. Full stop.
Yeah,
like,
okay.
I really don't believe that it costs any more to not have waste, not generate waste. But it's been something that's been part of my lifestyle for ages. You know, you recycle things, you make sure that you buy things that don't have that excess packaging. So maybe I'm not quite the right person to say that it's easily done, because I hear that Mary Ellen's actually done a challenge.
Yeah. There's definitely that perception that it's going to cost more, especially all the organic stuff. And do you know what I mean? And all those mason jars that look really pretty in the house, in the shelf.
Yeah, well, interestingly, this week I did do a no waste challenge, and the vlog will be coming up soon, so stay tuned for that. But yeah, I found that I was actually investing quite a lot of money into, you know, reusable utensils and, like, you know, keep cups and all this kind of stuff. So I think there is definitely an investment, but it sort of pays off, because then you get discounts on your coffee or your drinks that you buy. You know, yeah, you do actually. If you, I think
your reusable cup that you bring, or
so yeah, you bring a reusable cup, and I think it's Responsible Cafes as a website you can go and, you know, get a discount. But I actually realised while I was going through it that it's actually a really commercialised industry.
Yeah.
And they market things really well and say, you know, you need to buy this so that you can save on plastic, and you need to buy this. Where in actual fact, like, I bought reusable cutlery, and I was like, I could have just got a pencil case and cutlery from home and just used that, you know. And you can use, you know, pillowcases to put your vegetables in, as opposed to buying those reusable bags and things. So
you think it's a marketing gimmick to sort of...
In a way. I think it's definitely...
And they're sort of
and I think it's aimed at your generation, because I don't think my generation is as environmentally aware as you are. You've had it your whole life.
Yeah.
I've only really been hearing about it for the last few years, really.
But the thing is, I think it's just part of your lifestyle as well, because, you know, it's probably something, reusable things is probably something that, you know, we are familiar with, but then the marketers come in and
there are things that are so darn convenient, though.
Oh,
you know, let me say the word disposable nappies.
Oh, yes.
Like, I don't hear that mentioned in much media about how to cut back on that. Yes, there are cloth nappies out there, but no one's game enough to talk about it because it's so convenient.
Do you use
cloth nappies?
Really?
Yeah, but not everyone does, and it's so
That's unusual.
hard.
Do you know
to
anyone else
transition.
who does? Anyone else in your circle?
Because I'm in the community, right? So I know a lot of people who use cloth nappies,
Really?
and it's actually not that bad, and it's actually not that more. Okay, there is a little bit more effort. If you really hate laundry, it's probably not something you want to do. But other than that, I really don't think that it's not that much of an issue.
Nappy rashes? Is that an issue? Because it used to
nappy
be.
rashes on disposable more than on cloth.
Okay, let me tell you this. Each year, 3.7 billion disposable nappies end up in Australia and New Zealand landfill. And they're not going anywhere.
So we don't hear much about that, really. No. There's a lot more about disposable cups and plastic bags from the supermarket.
Well, and they're fairly easy to sort of cut back on, you know, but it's the things that are absolutely necessary that, how do you even combat that? Where do you begin?
I wouldn't even know how to do a kids' party waste-free. Like, I just...
I think
blow my mind.
Yeah, if it's too hard to live waste-free, right? I think the other point of it is to think about how you can recycle the stuff that you've used. So you've come with plastic packaging. You can actually recycle the plastics as well. You use anything that come in cardboard boxes, recycle the boxes. So if you can't do waste-free living, recycle what you've got.
Think about it.
Yeah, 90% of all plastics that could be recycled aren't recycled. Yeah. So only 10% of recyclable plastics actually get recycled. So that is a good point. Sorry.
Look, no, you're right. There's certainly a convenience factor. We need to sort of, I guess, do what we can where we can. And you can help us out by sharing your ideas on Facebook with us. What would you do in your home to reduce the waste? We would love to hear. Share it with our community and how we can somehow do something to clean up the world a little bit more. Well, it was Nelson Mandela who said education is the most powerful weapon which you can use to change the world. But does it depend on the type of education? Now in the UK, according to Essential Kids, former teacher and author Abby Elphinstone, a Scottish writer with dyslexia, has gone public with the facts that she failed her UK SATs. Now, what point was she trying to make? And I should say that, you know, SATs are sort of your entrance exam into, I think, college or tertiary education.
Yeah,
so.
yeah.
But what was she trying to do here?
Well, I think about the standardised tests that I've done, which have been lots throughout my educational career. And I think about, for example, my HSC. You know, I did quite well and other people I know didn't do so well. But the people that didn't do so well, quite a lot of them are more successful than I am at the moment. And I think she's just making a point that, you know, you don't have to do well in these standardised tests to be successful. They don't measure your success at all. And there's, like, life is so much more diverse than just your academic, you know, abilities.
But the whole reason for testing, and Julie might be able to tell me better being an ex-teacher, the whole point of doing testing, right, is just so that teachers can know how much they've learned. Is that correct?
But I think teachers know that anyway. If it's for the teacher's benefit, if you're not in touch with your students and don't know that, you know, I think you're.
But isn't
you're
this
probably out of
information
touch.
going back to the government and to the powers that be to
But
sort
is
of
it
give
being
them an
used?
indication of how the school's going and not letting schools fall through the system who might need more funding?
I'm not convinced that it's being used for the purpose for which it was designed. I'm really not. And I don't see it as being any benefit to the kids. My kids went through the basic skills test.
But don't you think there's a place for it though?
No, I'm not convinced there is.
It's a snapshot in time, like a standardised test is just a snapshot of
and
where
that's
they
the
are.
point. It's a snapshot in time. It's not a snapshot of your kids and where they are and where the school is.
And the
it's just
problem
a
is,
little
it is
moment
only-
in time.
It is only a snapshot, but that snapshot then translates to their self-esteem and what they believe they're actually good at. For example, you know, if you get a bad mark, I often say that primary teachers are so important because if they can
Thank
make
you.
a child believe, if they can make a child
Yeah.
believe that they are good
Yeah.
at something,
Yeah.
and like standardized tests, if you do bad in that, then you believe that you're not good at something, and so you may spend your entire educational career believing you're not good at maths, when in actual fact maybe you are. But
Where
you
is
just don't
that?
have that?
Is the pressure coming from the standardised test or from the teacher or from the family? Where's that coming from?
I think it's coming from all different areas and it varies from child to child, family to family. Yeah, I really do. And kids that are under a lot of pressure don't perform better. You know, I think there's a place in learning to handle pressure,
Yeah.
but I don't think it comes necessarily from standardised testing.
No.
I think you do have a good point in the sense that there is a place. I think there is a place for it. For example, we were talking earlier about getting your ELS or
Yeah,
learning
your
how to
driver's
drive.
license.
Driver's license, right?
You want people measured by the same standard.
Yeah, and I think there's definitely merit
Life
in
or
that.
death, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that's the point, though. I think that affects other people. You know, that standardized testing is something that protects the safety of other people. And I think in that situation, it's merited. But in an educational sense, you're not harming anyone if you're not good at maths or you're not good at English or something.
Unless you're an engineer and you're trying to build a building.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's a good
But
point.
basic
Very good point.
skills aren't going to, you know, I don't think are going to affect that in the long term.
And I was going to
You
say, I
know.
agree with that. School is not necessarily the determinant of how well you're going to do in life. It is
not
a
at all.
time in your life. But I know class clowns I went to school with who've done amazingly well in business now, and then people who did really well academically and haven't necessarily made something of themselves. So the pressure on the kids is that's my question. Where's it coming from? We're about to start Napland this year, like in my household. So I'm like, oh, okay.
Are your kids nervous? Do they
I haven't even
understand?
told them about it. No.
So they have no idea.
No, they'll do a test, they'll come home
Yeah.
and I'll say, how did you do? Did you do your best? And if your
Yeah.
best is that, good for you. You know, you're a
I
winner.
didn't make a big deal about it with my kids either.
I don't
I
need
thought
my
it's
kids to
important
know
not to.
if
Yeah.
they're at the bottom or at the top.
They
So-
already know.
Yeah, well,
Sorry,
I don't
they
want
already
them to.
know.
Yeah, look, school is one system
Yeah.
we're all sort of forced through, but there's so much more out there. The best thing I reckon you can do for your kids, and I say it in careers all the time, is get them to know themselves
Yep.
and be okay with who they are,
Yep.
and the rest takes care of itself. We're going to hand you over to Mandy. She's making some dishwashing liquid. Have a look.
So almost every single day we are washing dishes and using dishwashing liquid. Some people can have their skin affected by this and it dries your skin out a little bit. So I'm going to show you how you can make your own easy dishwashing liquid at home that is safe and gentle on your hands. For this, you will need some distilled water. You will need some Dr. Bronner's Cell Suds. So you can buy this online. It's an all-natural soap. You'll need some washing soda, 3 teaspoons of salt, and I have 3 tablespoons of water. and then some essential oils of your choice. So to start off with for this recipe, I'm just going to tip my hot water into my salt and mix it around just until my salt is all dissolved. So I've got a saucepan here, which I'm going to put my 1 1/3 cups of distilled water into. And to that, I'm going to put a tablespoon of washing soda here. And I'm going to go and pop that on the stove and keep stirring that until my washing soda is all dissolved. So my last step is just to simply add all of these ingredients together. So we're going to start with our Dr. Bronner's Cell Suds soap. And I'm going to add in my essential oils at this point as well. So I'm going to add about 10 to 15 drops of each of them. I'm using orange essential oil, one of my favourites, and also some lemongrass. We'll give that a little bit of a mix up. We're going to add our dissolved salt mixture. And we're only going to add it a little bit at a time because our salt mixture is really going to thicken this up. You can always just add a little bit more distilled water and shake up the bottle it's in to thin it out if it starts to get a little bit too thick. So it's kind of like a thin, runny gel here. So I'm going to stop adding my salt in now. Right, now I'm just going to pour this into my pump bottle that I'm going to store on my kitchen bench. Right, that's it. That is simple, homemade, natural dishwashing liquid that is safe for your hands, that will not dry them out like normal dishwashing liquid. I hope you've enjoyed this simple home hack. Let us know on our Facebook page at The Table TV Show if you try this and what you think about it. We would love to hear from you.
See, now there's a way to start being waste-free.
I was just going to say that. That's really
Yeah,
good.
thanks, Mandy. Well, it's a thankless task, and some parents do it around 180 times a year, and I feel it. They prepare and pack their children's lunchbox only to have the contents returned half-eaten, not to mention stale, soggy or squished. Thank you for that. But for most days of the year, we try to think of something wonderful, magical, healthy and absolutely perfect for our kids. But for my kids, honestly, it's mostly a sandwich with jam and cheese. Sorry, girls. But I am grateful to news.com, who has showcased some creative mums who are willing to share their fun ideas with the rest of us. Thank goodness. But who could be bothered?
I was going to ask, are you really grateful?
Oh, I am, because my kids think that I spoke to my daughter this morning. I'm like, do you like your lunches? And they're like, yeah, but they're pretty boring, Mum.
Do you know, my kids are finished, and that's the best thing about having kids finish school is no more school lunches. But I remember I would start the beginning of the year really enthusiastic, like, you know, kids go to school really enthusiastic. I would start with these great lunches and then, you know, it'd be downhill.
So when you say a great lunch, what did it look like? Was it sort of
I used
creative?
to have all these little sections,
Yep.
you know, and a little, buy these special lunch boxes and a section for nuts and a section for something, and it lasted a few weeks.
No nuts
and
these
then what
days.
happens at the
that's right.
What happens at the last day? How does a lunchbox look like at the last day?
Pretty sad, probably.
It's just one square.
But some of these beautiful lunches I'm seeing on Pinterest and other places, you know, like
much
you've
pressure.
got the olives for the eyes and this little carrot hair, and it's all really
They
beautiful.
cut everything so intricately, it's ridiculous.
And I can,
Yeah, this is the cynical side of me coming out. Are they doing it for the kids, or are they doing it for Pinterest?
Or Instagram, I think, as well. Yeah.
Well, let's look at this realistically, because if I did that in my kid's lunchbox and then I put it in the lunch bag and then it gets to school, it's going to look more like a pro art painting when it gets there, as opposed to this
But
beautiful
is
artistic
anyone
thing
actually
I did.
doing it in real life?
Well, actually, it's funny you say that. I'm a part of this Facebook group called Kids Vegan Lunchboxes. I have no idea why. Like, I don't have kids, but I'm part
Oh,
of the group.
Marion, I love this.
And yeah, no, mums do this, and they're like, oh, do you think this is okay, ladies? And they get all this, you know, feedback from them, and they make the most intricate
So
lunches.
they're
It's
doing it for
ridiculous.
themselves
I think
to
it
get
might
the
be.
feedback.
Yeah.
But shouldn't we sort of be, I mean, at the end of the day, we have to decide, we have to leave this up to our kids to decide what to eat, don't we? Like, they're
They
going
will.
to do it at school
They will.
anyway, so...
And I really think it's a really bad idea. In order to sell them to do something, right, you have to package it really nicely.
Yeah.
Life is not always
Is it creating
been
a rod for your own back?
Sorry?
Is it creating a rod for your own back to sort of set that standard?
Yeah, I think it is because, you know, life isn't always going to hand you pretty things. And
Who's
it's like,
who's had fussy eaters here? Anyone?
Mine were pretty good,
Yeah.
I think.
My
Mine's
niece
yeah.
is totally fussy, and one of my nephews was, and he would only eat peas and corn for a long time. So you can understand the length mums will go to try and get their kids to have a varied diet. I can totally understand that. I'm just not sure where they're finding the time.
Looking back now, I remember mums getting so upset about, you know, their kids not eating different foods. And I look back now and they've all turned out fine.
Yeah.
Just, you know. as they've got older.
It's just a stage. You've got to
Yeah.
go through and ride
Focus
the
on
wave.
what matters.
What does your kids' lunchbox look like, Melody? Hit me.
I did not. Well, I did not grow up in a lunchbox culture as well. So
yeah.
this is absolutely foreign concept to me. Usually, it's just my mum would give me 50 cents and go buy your own lunch. So,
So good though.
Yeah.
I wish I had parents like that. They always pack my lunch and everyone else would have the yummy canteen lunch.
so I have no idea how Elliot's lunchbox is going to look, but it's not going to be pretty.
Well, feel free to share your ideas. We're totally open to them. There are going to have to be mums and dads out there with fussy eaters. Let's share and share alike on Facebook. We're going to take you into the kitchen now with Gia and Olive. They're cooking some Cocoa Choc banana pops.
Look at the camera and tell them.
Hi everyone, today we're making banana and pajama paddle pops and Auntie Digi cut the recipe out and she actually gave it to me as a present so I could make it for the filming. And
Isn't that awesome? Say thank you, Auntie Deidre.
and to Auntie Digi.
She did give us the recipe. She found it in a magazine. Olive Litzer found it in a magazine and Auntie Deidre cut it out for her and we're about to make it. It's bananas in pajamas paddle pops.
Yeah,
How cool is
it's
that?
B1 and B2.
B1 and B2. So all you need is one banana. You cut it in half. Easy, huh? And do you want to put a paddle pop underneath? Put a paddle pop in there. The paddle pop first. We've got to put a paddle pop in there. Okay. So you put a paddle pop. This is something fun you could do with the kids. Yeah, okay. Ah, good work. Yes. Don't eat it yet. So you just put the paddle pop in there. So we got a paddle pop in there just to hold it like a little handle. You then put these in the freezer for maybe 2 to 3 hours. We actually put ours, we've got some to show you. We put ours in the freezer overnight. We just put them on paddle pop sticks, put them in the freezer. These are great for like kids' parties and stuff as well. Then after you've put them in the freezer, pretend you're taking them out, okay, the frozen ones. Then you get coconut yogurt, which is divine. And you
Greek
slather,
yogurt.
well, you can use Greek yogurt, but we're gonna use coconut yogurt. Some people like Greek yogurt, but coconut yogurt just so tasty when it's frozen. It'll banana and coconut, So you just lather it on. And what are you gonna use for the eyes? The eyes and the nose. Now, we don't know what we can use for a mouth. We've been talking about that, but you guys can, mums out there can be creative, or daddies or nuns and pops. Okay, so we lather it on. Okay, you're gonna put the eyes in there. So maybe the pointy bit down. Oh, so it can go inside. So we put the pointy, oh, you got me there. Whoa, there we go.
Here's the mouth.
There's the mouth or the nose. The mouth or the nose.
I want one.
Okay, you can eat it. There you go. That's what you like doing, isn't it? Okay, so then you would lay it on your plate and you would put that in the freezer for maybe an hour or two. We've got some ready to show you. How awesome are these? They're frozen. Frozen paddle pops. Banana coconut yogurt with a little bit of chocolate paddle pops. Do you want that one? I'm gonna try this one. How about it? Let's go. Cheers. Enjoy. It's very hard, but I'm sure it'll melt.
Yeah.
Thanks, Gia and Olive. Now, if you're a keen recipe collector, we've got a great giveaway for you today, Health and Happiness, which focuses on healthy plant-based dishes to add to your repertoire. All you have to do to get hold of your copy is send us your details via email, your name, your postal address and the name of the recipe book, Health and Happiness. The address here is hello@thetabletv.com, or if you'd rather call, the number is 1300 300 389. That's for Australian viewers. Or in New Zealand, it's 0800 694 673. Well, now our guest today is an Oz Mumpreneur Gold winner for making a difference. And that difference is to those suffering from eczema, which can affect 1 in 5 children under the age of 2. So far, her company, Itchy Baby Co, has helped more than 30,000 families manage the condition, their children's eczema, and enjoy a better quality of life. Julia, welcome to the show. Thanks for being here at the table.
Thanks for having me.
How often does someone actually just go and make a product? Like, there must be a story behind this. What is your story?
Oh, there's a big story. So my little boy Christian at 3 months was diagnosed with eczema, and we suffered with eczema for a year before I actually got into my kitchen and started myself doing something about it. And that's because at the time he was diagnosed, children get lots of skin rashes, as we know, and the health advice I got, and me being a health professional as well, a pharmacist, listening to myself, rashes come and go. And various doctors had told me that by the time he's 1, he'll grow out of this. And so I was treading water for a year, thinking he's going to grow out of it. I've got so much else going on with a newborn, and you know how busy it is having a newborn child, and too busy to worry about this, and it's going to go away. It just got worse and worse and worse, to the point where when he did turn 1 and it was supposed to be this wonderful time when he was going to grow out of his eczema, we were in hospital, and he had eczema over 75% of his body.
Wow.
We were admitted for a week. He was badly infected.
So what is eczema? What were his symptoms? Like, what was he suffering from?
So eczema is a chronic skin condition, and what he was suffering from was intensely itchy skin, red, raised, inflamed, over most of his body. And it wasn't like that all the time. Things trigger eczema, so there are environmental triggers, like say your dishwashing detergent or your washing powder. Environmental triggers can make the eczema worse.
Is it food allergies? Do they contribute?
They contribute, and where a lot of people fall down with that is they think that taking a particular food away from a diet is going to cure eczema. There's no cure for eczema, but if your child is allergic to a food and they eat the food, then it can trigger an eczema flare-up. So
if the doctor didn't recognise it, how's a mum with a baby going to know what to do? Whether it is eczema or something else?
Well, that's the problem. That is exactly the problem I found, that GPs, speaking very generally, unaware, and pharmacists as well, me being one, of the best way to manage eczema. So we always want to treat what's in front of us, treat the symptoms, bring them down so we can all, you know, get on with other things
Everyday
we have
life.
to do. Exactly, everyday life. And so often with eczema, your health professional will give you a steroid cream to use, which is great, and it has a place in eczema management, definitely, and that'll treat the flare-up, hopefully, and bring it down and take away the itch out of the skin. Now, the problem with that is that eczema is a chronic condition, which means it comes back. It's not going away until, hopefully, one day your child grows out of it. And slapping on a steroid ointment when you're in a flare-up is going to be great for a day or two. You stop using it and your eczema flare-up comes back. So eczema requires management.
So how did you
And that
sort
was
of
the step that
target
was
that
missing.
for your son?
Yeah.
then?
So when we're in hospital, and you know, there's nothing to do in hospital, is there? Like, you've got your baby in one of those cot beds and you're on that uncomfortable kind of thing, lying there wide awake. There's not much to do. So I started researching natural ingredients which were going to help manage eczema. So ingredients which had anti-inflammatory properties, intensely moisturising properties, things which were going to be good for the skin, to keep Christian skin moisturised, hydrated, so we could prevent eczema flare-ups. And I'll probably go back a little bit and just explain how eczema comes about, or how it affects the skin. So if you imagine your skin, and people without eczema, it's all like meshed over. People with eczema, it's quite, you have holes in it, so the ends don't meet all over the skin. And so there are breaks in the skin, and moisture then can escape the skin very easily, so you get dry, itchy skin, and also irritants which live on the skin can get into the skin. And so it's twofold. You're losing moisture, and then irritants are getting into the skin and causing itchiness and inflammation. So I really wanted to start protecting his skin barrier, and started researching natural ingredients which were going to help me do that.
So what did you... Oh, sorry, go Mel.
Oh, I was just thinking about what you're saying was very interesting, because I was going to ask you, because my 18-month-old grew into eczema. He didn't have any.
Right.
And now he's starting, it's only very little, so it's just in the inside of the arms, and it flares up. And yeah, the GP exactly just said steroid cream, and yeah, it does help. And I was going to ask you, it's like, so you're saying that that doesn't help, and your product, what's the difference between the steroid cream and what you've come up with?
So the steroid cream will treat the flare-up. So your little boy's having an eczema flare-up in the inside of his elbow, which is a really common place for eczema to come up. Itchy Baby Co, my products, what they do is you use them regularly and they protect the skin's barrier to prevent the flare-up happening. So then you won't need to use a steroid cream.
Even when there's no symptoms, you use it.
And that's the thing with eczema. You have to manage the skin every day to put the most amount of moisture into the skin and protect the skin's barrier to prevent eczema flare-ups. And that's the piece that's missing when mums first hear about eczema. Their child has eczema. And what I found is that we're not educated enough about how to manage eczema. And eczema requires a skincare routine every day.
So how long did your son take to improve?
So once we started using Itchy Baby Co, so he improved within a week.
Oh, wow, that's cool.
And
You'd been
then
having
I thought,
this for like over
and then
a
I thought,
year.
oh my God, I'm onto something. The biggest problem I had was that I didn't have time. Like, you're pregnant again, like, you know, like, oh my goodness. And you just, you don't have time to, it sounds silly now, but to do what's involved to manage eczema. So my first step was to incorporate something I do every day to make an eczema skincare routine. So he has a bath every day. So I started with a bath soak, something I could easily put in the bath, because that's not extra time into my day. You're already so time poor. So every day he'd have his bath with colloidal oatmeal, and we've got a range of bath soaks that...
Sorry, did you say colloidal oatmeal?
Yes.
Oh, what is that?
So,
Sorry.
you've got oats, and they're finely milled down to a really fine powder, and that means that their moisturising and anti-inflammatory properties disperse into the water and then onto the skin, and they stay on the skin.
So you have a range of products. It's not just one product.
Yeah, we've got a range of products. So we started with our bath soaks and then developed a moisturiser that's used immediately after the bath, so that further locks in the hydration from the bath soak. Then a face mask. So my little boy had really bad eczema on his face.
Are we allowed to ask the ingredients? It
Oh,
sounds amazing.
yeah. You know what? They're natural products, so they're ingredients that have been around for a very long time. So colloidal oatmeal is our main ingredient. Shea butter, intensely moisturising. The wondrous properties of coconut oil, so antibacterial properties in that, which is amazing for eczema. Vitamin E to help heal the skin. Marshmallow root, which again has anti-inflammatory properties. So you can see they're all natural things which have properties that are going to help.
So essentially you're creating that layer that the skin isn't?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah,
And that's a hard message to get across
So
to
where are
new
your
mums.
products available?
Online at itchybabyco.com.au. And
I bet there are so many families out there who'll be wanting to have a look, because I know I've had friends who've had kids with eczema and they've gone to bed with like wet cloths over them because it's just so itchy and so raw and red, and that's the only way that they can get any relief. So it's a real problem.
yeah,
And is it just as effective on adults?
yes, it is.
Because I know
It
a lot
is,
of
and we've got a
adults
lot
still
of
suffer.
adults who use our products, and they're like, "Oh, you should remarket it to itchy adult." And I'm like,
There you go. Well, look, if you want to have a look, go to it's itchybabyco.com.au to see if it can help out your family. Thank you so much for joining us, Julie.
you.
We really appreciate your wisdom and knowledge.
for having me.
Ladies, always a pleasure. We will see you next time. Thanks so much for joining us. Bye for now.